And let's go to business now. Stephen is with us here on set. Stephen, you've been keeping an eye, of course, haven't you, on that board meeting at Nissan. This is set to determine the future of Carlos Ghosn, isn't it?
That's right. The company's director is due to have started that meeting in the last hour to discuss whether or not they're going to remove Carlos Ghosn as chairman of Nissan after he was arrested on Monday over allegations of financial misconduct. Along with fellow director Greg Kelly, he's been held for questioning by prosecutors since Monday. Now, the criminal inquiry began after an internal investigation by Nissan into the potential underreporting by Carlos Ghosn of his income at the company. CEO Hiroto Sakawa announced on Monday that he would seek Ghosn's dismissal as chairman. Now, that board meeting has 9 people in the room. Let's take a look at who they are, and because they'll be the ones, of course, making that decision. With Ghosn and Kelly both still in custody, there will be 7 of the 9 members of the board taking part in this meeting, including the CEO, Mr. Sakawa. Now, of these other 6, just to explain, representative directors, people who have a little bit more power in the running of the company. So the other 6 directors will be present for this meeting. Mr. Sakamoto and Mr. Shiga are both Nissan executives, former and past. Mr. Duzin and Mr. Bernard are both former Renault executives, because of course the French car maker has a 43% stake in Nissan. The 2 other directors on this list, Keiko Ihara is a race car driver, and Mr. Toyoda is an official who spent most of his career at the economy ministry in Japan. Now, we're told that going into this meeting, the board was divided on exactly what they were going to do. It's not clear yet whether or not they will decide to strip Carlos Ghosn of his title of chairman, or to take a step more in vain to what happened at Renault earlier in the week in only temporarily replacing him. Now, the position of Hiroto Sakawa, the CEO of Nissan, has been key to this story, and if Mr. Ghosn is removed as chairman, he is likely to take up that role in addition to being chief executive. Peter O'Brien has more.
Nissan's CEO stunned the world's press on Monday when he launched a string of fierce accusations against his mentor. Hiroto Sakawa appeared to be personally affected by what he called the dark side of Carlos Ghosn's leadership.
Way beyond feeling sorry, I feel great anger and disappointment. The lesson we need to learn from the negative parts of Ghosn's rule is that power was too concentrated in one person.
Sakawa was long considered loyal to Ghosn, owing his career to the powerful tycoon and having worked for him for 15 years. Last year, Ghosn, chairman of the Renault-Nissan-Mitsubishi alliance, entrusted Sakawa with running Nissan. A key member of the alliance, Sakawa also sat on Renault's board for 10 years until 2016. Initially, Ghosn praised him for defending Nissan's autonomy from Renault, but recently it's reported that Ghosn planned to fuse the 2 companies, souring their relationship. With strong opposition to the merger from Nissan and Ghosn's arrest, it would appear the idea is dead. Sakawa, however, insists the alliance between the French and Japanese car makers will survive the scandal. His priority, however, will still be to protect Nissan.
That board meeting at Nissan's headquarters getting underway after the markets closed in Japan. But let's just check in on the shares of the companies in that alliance, Nissan, Mitsubishi and Renault. So Nissan and Mitsubishi both seeing small gains in their shares and trading in Japan today, and Renault also trading slightly up. But it is worth noting that all of these companies are still significantly down compared to before the first details of Carlos Ghosn's arrest emerged on Monday of this week. More generally on the Asian markets, a mixed picture. Japan shares finishing up at the end of the day, but we've got Shanghai and the Caspian Seoul in the red. Trade worries back on investors' minds there. In Europe, shares opening in the red today. Much calmer, though, compared to recent days on the markets. Shares in the Franco-Dutch telecoms giant Altice, we're keeping an eye on those today for you. Down 7.5% at the open. That's after their latest results showed a fall in profits. Now, a sovereign wealth fund from Abu Dhabi is suing Goldman Sachs over its links to the scandal at Malaysian fund 1MDB. 2 former directors at Goldman have been charged by US prosecutors over their role in the affair, in which high-ranking Malaysian officials helped to loot billions of dollars of government money from the fund. Abu Dhabi's international petroleum investment company now seeking damages from Goldman, saying that its bankers bribed executives as part of what the lawsuit calls a massive international conspiracy. And finally from me, Google is to roll out a new set of tools ahead of next year's European elections designed to alert users to the origin of political advertisements. The policy will mean that every political campaign across the European Union will be required to verify its nationality and identity before being allowed to buy ads on Google's platforms. The search giant is also building a database of all political ads which will show who's buying what, as well as the audience that they're targeting. Google promising to make changes to political ad policies after, of course, the criticism they faced over election interference on its platforms. Stuart.
Yeah, fascinating what they're trying to do there at Google. Thanks very much, Stephen. Stephen Carroll with Business on France 24.